Hi everyone, it is officially the start of my work week. I worked yesterday for overtime during the day, but back to my normal schedule. So I wanted to talk to you guys about something I've been thinking about a little bit, and that is forgiveness. And we know that we are supposed to forgive people, and sometimes, we are good about it and we do it, especially if it's something minor, like somebody forgot to wake you up for work on time, or somebody forgot to grab milk from the store. But we're not always good when it's something significant. If somebody hurt our feelings, if somebody forgot something significant like a birthday or an anniversary, or it could be because somebody has a lot of personal issues going on, and maybe we've had to separate ourselves from them. Sometimes God has people come in and out of our lives for different reasons, and maybe somebody is an addict and not at the point where they want to get treatment. Maybe somebody is abusive, and not just mentally or physically, but emotionally. There's all kinds of abuse that could happen. But either way, forgiveness is not just always about forgiving the other person. It's about being able to let go of that feeling, that disappointment, that struggle that we have within our heart. And if we don't, forgive the situation, not necessarily the person, but the situation, we carry that with us and it eats away at us. So, for example, there's people that I was very close to in high school, and I don't hang out with them now because they've made choices in their life that I don't necessarily want to be associated with them. They've gotten into things that they shouldn't have gotten into, or chosen to live a lifestyle of, basically hatred towards other people that I can't agree with. And so I've had to separate myself from them, but I have forgiven them in my heart for making decisions that weren't necessarily good decisions. So it's not me forgiving them for their bad behavior. It's me forgiving them for hurting me, and then I can move on. And it's easier said than done. And especially if it's somebody that you still have a relationship, sometimes it's really hard to forgive that person. But we have to, because you don't want to carry that with you for the rest of your life. And people make mistakes. People do things that they're not supposed to do. People live lifestyles that they shouldn't. They get mixed up in addiction. They get mixed up with the wrong people, whatever the case may be. And until they decide to do something about it, they don't necessarily always realize what they're doing is wrong. Sometimes it's hard in the moment to realize that. And so when we forgive them in terms of hurting us and we move on, it still allows us to care about them as people, because Jesus tells us to love all people. And it doesn't mean that we judge people. It doesn't mean that we say, well, I can't love this person because of X, Y, and Z. Jesus didn't put conditions on it. He said, love people for who they are. And I have to remind myself that sometimes when I'm at work and somebody is just like out of control mad and just really taking it out on me, and I just get in that point where I'm so mad at them and I'm just like, oh, and I want to just yell and scream at them. And I tell myself, no, it's not. I'm not the one that caused this. I didn't do it. And I just need to realize that it's not me. And they're just upset. And we're all going to move on. And it's the same thing when you forgive people. You don't have to let somebody back in your life because you forgive them. But you can't harbor bad feelings for them in your heart either. And it's just, even if somebody is in your life that you don't approve of their behavior, their lifestyle, whatever, you don't have to hate them just because they're doing things that you don't agree with. You should love them as a fellow human being. People don't stop being human just because they do things that are wrong. People make mistakes. We've all made mistakes, and we've all done things that we aren't proud of and that we don't agree with. And there's people that have probably had to forgive us for things that we have done in our past. So free your heart from that burden, free your mind from that burden, And if you can rebuild a relationship, great. If it's not worth it because that person is genuinely not in a good place or genuinely has behavioral issues that they haven't addressed, then don't associate with them. But don't carry that burden in your heart and your minds anymore. Forgive them in your heart and your mind for their behavior towards you, and accept that if and when they're willing to change, that they will, but that you're still going to respect them as a person. You're just not going to associate with them. And then you're going to feel that burden lifted from your heart and your mind, and you're going to be able to move on. And they're not going to be controlling that part of your life anymore. So think about it. Who in your life do you need to forgive? And let that burden go. Have a wonderful week, my friends.